Hello everyone, welcome back to the URBOND Podcast. Today we're talking about youth support and engagement, which is part of our Youth Development Programme. So just to touch upon that, our Youth Development Programme is supporting young people in the city, providing opportunities for them and engagement activities for them also. So first of all, I'm going to introduce our guests. So we have Jo here, which is a volunteer with URBOND. And we have Perry and Sophia here, which take part in our activities. So, first of all, hand over to Jo, just introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Jo. I'm one of the volunteers for URBOND. I'm brought in specifically to help out with the Youth Development Programme, which I lead phase 2 of. So, phase 2 of the Youth Development Programme is centred around employability and personal development for the youth that are operating under URBOND's phase 1, which is directed towards youth engagement, primarily to do with sport. So phase 2 is going to the business side of things, where we're looking at the children's futures and making sure that we give them the best opportunity for them to actually excel within their lives.
Amazing. Perry, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Perry. I'm 17. And I've been living in Portsmouth my whole life. And I joined the URBOND this Wednesday. I started playing basketball, and I'm here to see what the whole thing is all about and see where it can take me.
Nice. Sophia?
Hi, my name's Sophia. I've been with URBOND for about over a year, almost 2 years now, with the volleyball side. I've been playing volleyball for quite a while, and yeah, really enjoying it.
Amazing. So, my first question really is, how did you get involved with URBOND? What made you reach out? What made you get involved?
Yeah, so if I kick it off, so I've known drama since we went to uni, which is probably going back, I graduated in 2010, so this is the University of Portsmouth. And I've been watching from afar really what he's been doing through URBOND, which has been amazing work. And as part of my job, I'm a trained planner, so I'm a chartered town planner, and I volunteer for the Royal Town Planning Institute. And as part of that, we do a lot of outreach work, so going, giving talks to schools, that sort of stuff. And late last year, it occurred to me that I probably wasn't having as much of an impact as I could. And I reached out to Drummond, and we just started talking, and off the back of that conversation, I think I talked myself into leading phase 2 of the Youth Development Programme, because our values and our vision for what we could do for the youth of Portsmouth and the ones that URBOND is looking after, we're quite aligned.
Yeah.
So I've always been an advocate for school and how education can be better someone's life, because my mum went through the same thing. So.
Sure.
Education for her was a catalyst for her social mobility, which then gave me and my siblings the opportunities that we had. So I wanted to share that with other people, and particularly the youth of Portsmouth, because I grew up in Portsmouth. I came up here when I was 16, so I've still got an emotional connection to Portsmouth, and I've got some relatives, 2 brothers and a sister that live here, and some of my nephews as well. So I'm quite keen to be able to give back, and URBOND allows me to do that, and in a way that utilises my existing skills and the networks that I have to try and deliver something for the youth.
Amazing. Sophia, I'll go to you next, because I know you've been with us for a while now. So, yeah, really, what made you reach out and join us?
So before URBOND, I used to be a swimmer. I was like quite competitive, and it kind of came to the point where I was kind of coming to the end of it, because I got injured, and it was I just accepted it was kind of the end. But I knew I couldn't just stop playing sport. I really needed to have something other than just education. I kind of needed that physical side, and I loved the community when I used to swim, and I wanted something new. So as I was doing a bit of research, I kind of came across URBOND and how they had like a variety of sports, and saw volleyball, enjoyed it back at school. I just was like, why not? Tried it. There was already quite a few people. Not many girls though. I was one of the first girls on the under 18s, first one on the team, but it was still new experience. It was great. The support was there. It's from the very beginning that I joined. And yeah, I just kept it up because I just really enjoyed it. The support's great. And the community is like really good as well. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. And Perry, I know you've literally just joined like this week, is it, or last week?
It was this week on Wednesday.
This week on Wednesday. But how did you find out about us? What made you want to join?
I met Drama in a party in Saturday. It was in the toilet, and then he asked me if I played basketball. And at first I was uninterested, but then my dad put me into it. And then I went along one day, and then I tried it. It was fun, innit? And then after we had a talk, and then he invited me to come today. So I'm gonna see where it takes me.
Amazing. So yeah, moving on, the first sort of section of this podcast is talking about support for young people in Portsmouth. So before coming to URBOND, did you access any support outside through school, college, anything?
To be quite honest, like support in school, I was quite fortunate to go to quite a good school. So the support was there, but not much outside of school. So while I was like looking for other sports while I stopped swimming, there wasn't that many. And even growing up, I wanted to do sports. My parents tried to encourage me going into it. But in Portsmouth, it's an island, it's quite small. It's a lot of people, but it's small. And there was not many options. You had kind of the typical football, rugby, but there wasn't more of a broad range. You had like your standard, and that was it.
Yeah.
So now seeing how like it's kind of gotten more broad and there's more choices for us. It's great to see that there's like more of a choice. So what suits you can try, and like if it doesn't, you can go try something else. So there's definitely improvement when it comes to support, like not just within schools, but even outside of schools.
Yeah, amazing. And yeah, Perry, do you feel the same way?
With support, like in school, it's mainly about like lessons and how you're doing with your work and that. But obviously, I'm fortunate that I haven't come across a time where I needed support and that. But I feel like if I do, then it'll be good.
Yeah. You mentioned you do boxing, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I do boxing, yeah.
So I guess that in a way supports you in your personal life?
Kinda, like it keeps you in shape. It like puts you in uncomfortable situations like outside your comfort zone, which is healthy at like this age. And it keeps you away from doing other things like distraction away.
Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to ask is, do you think Portsmouth could do more in terms of supporting young people?
I'll look at it from the frame of URBOND as much as I'm quite conscious that not every young person within the city has access to URBOND as yet.
Yeah.
I know like we're an open door and people can come through. But it does feel like there is room for improvement, if I can be honest with that.
Yeah.
I think particularly to do with the underserved groups. I think probably that's the easiest term, because they are a lot harder to get to.
Yeah.
If you use traditional approaches. So I've got 3 children. Well, it's almost scary saying that, and they go to a good school.
Yeah.
It's in a village setting, and they've got all the support that they need, right? And you can't replicate that in a big city.
Yeah.
Without charities like URBOND.
Mm-hmm.
And there are loads of other charities that work in partnership with URBOND as well that deliver that. But there definitely could be a lot more improvement. And that's part of the reason why I've gotten involved with the youth development side of things in phase 2. And for me, I think it's that step change from just engaging them and giving them out of trouble. And I know phase 1 is amazing because it gives them something to do and looks after their physical and mental health, and the coaches are great in talking to some of the kids if they've got any particular problems. I know Drama is quite passionate about trying to solve issues as and when they come up.
Yeah.
But there needs to be more concerted effort that looks at, right, beyond sport, beyond school, thinking about careers, what can you do for these young people? Because not everyone is on a level playing field. And because I've come from an immigrant background, I know that the network that I had the benefit of back in Zimbabwe, I can't replicate here. I've had to build that up. And if you think of my situation where I didn't have that professional network, any other family, working class family, probably is in that situation. And that's where that gap in youth provision probably is. And that's what we're trying to address.
Yeah. From a young person's perspective, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think being like, having grown up here all my life as well, and having just like, even just observing like other classmates and stuff and seeing how very different students, and depending on where they come from, like their background, like it's somehow really unfortunate to not have that support from their family. So it's really good that like there's that support outside that can still help them, like especially mentally. I think our generation is really quite suffering and like trying to go through that whole mental side, but doing it through physical activity and actual activities is a bit more less daunting compared to just straight up coming and being like, this is what's wrong and stuff. It's a bit more, eases the pressure more, and it kind of gets you comfortable. And definitely from personal experiences, having a sport was just the thing that helped so much mentally. Talking about it and having to have someone to give me advice or even just listening helped, but even just the sport just really was that like extra push. So having URBOND being just more than just activities and sports is what I think is just great, and I definitely see more room for improvement, but I think they're already doing so much already.
I think it's good because it provides a sense of community, and it brings other people together. So if you do have a problem, then someone else your age, you guys can bond over that, and you don't feel like alone when you're going through that problem.
Yeah, and I know Joe touched upon work experience and employability and that side of things. Do you feel like you've gotten that support outside of here, in school, in college or anything?
I would say a little bit here and there, but it's not as much as they can be with schools. To be quite honest, they can be quite directing with what way they're being told by the government to do. So at the moment, there's a high push for apprenticeships, but as much as they're good, it's not everyone wants to do those. So it should be very broad. So with schools, they are doing, like, they're supporting stuff. I think they have that where they're being told to route it in a certain direction where they want the kids to go, and kind of try and pressure and maybe slightly, not force, but kind of make them go in that direction. Maybe that's not what they want, or they don't know that there are other options, especially from their background, that they have more, they can do more. Yeah,
it's quite interesting you should say that, actually, because I think part of what we're going to be looking to be doing as part of the Youth Development Programme is to bring in different perspectives in terms of what you can do with your career going forward. So Ruby's probably going to touch on it a bit later on with the partnership with Richmond. That's one aspect of it. Then we're looking to expand on that and start looking at different routes. So it is definitely something that we picked up and we're looking to address, hopefully, as we go forward.
I was actually going to hand over to you.
Really?
Yeah, to expand on the
great minds, eh? So I think it's quite amazing, actually, because it was last week Saturday that we had the first workshop that Richmond Motor Group delivered to our youth, where they talked about the potential opportunities out there. So I think initially it'll be up to a day a month in one of their departments. So if you think of Richmond Motor Group, they've got a wide range of services that they need to provide. I mean, they sell cars, but then to support that, there's a whole raft of staff, whether it's HR, whether it's with sales, aftercare, customer services, they've got their backroom IT staff. So you can imagine all those departments, they need different types of employees in there, and there's different routes to that. So with Andrew and Harry that came through, and just hearing their stories about how they actually ended up working for Richmond Group and how they've progressed within Richmond Group, it sort of gave an insight into why Richmond actually paired up with URBOND in the first place. Because sometimes you can tell how an organisation is structured and their ethos by how they develop their people. So if you think of Abby, she had a totally different career, and she was working part-time with them. And when things changed with COVID, they literally went all in on her and put her through like all the courses. I think she's a qualified HR professional now, and that's through them recognising that potential and facilitating that development. So that's quite amazing, and it explains why they wanted to partner us up with us, because they see the value in investing in people and providing that opportunity for them to go forward. So they're the initial phase, and it's probably the easiest way to look at it. So the way we envisaged it, or my gripes to Drame and him trying to solve those gripes, was that we need to look at the youth and think about them as individuals, get them to understand themselves, because our coaches see the characters within them, they see some of the frustrations, and we need to get the youth to see that themselves from an objective point of view. So a crucial part of what we'll be doing as part of the Youth Development Programme is getting them to undertake psychometric tests, so that they understand, baseline, who am I as a person? Because some of the psychometric tests out there, they give out a personality profile, which allows you to look at it objectively and think right, so I'm likely to act like this in a particular situation. That explains why when such and such happens, I react like this. That makes sense. Or they'll see certain traits and think right, my mate, whenever I say this, or I say something a certain way, they react a different way. But that's not what I intended for them to think. So just by understanding yourself, you stand a better chance of understanding others. And if you understand the other person, you're more able to relate to them and communicate with them. And if you communicate effectively with them, you reduce the chances of misunderstanding.
Absolutely.
So that self-mastery, I think, is probably the most crucial element, I think, to the whole puzzle. Because once they understand themselves, then we start building them up. So once they do that, the next part of the youth programme will be to start getting major employers in Portsmouth, and that's already started happening with Richmond, because they've seen just how pivotal it is to deal with this, that they've come in, literally just come in, and they've gone all in, and they're offering all the support that we need, which is amazing. So part of that will be to bring in the other major employers within Portsmouth and start building those relationships and those networks, so that when the youth on our programme eventually look for a job, they've already seen these people, they've already spoken to them, they know a bit more about the industries that they want to go into, so it's not as daunting. Because you can imagine, first day of school, how you feel.
I know.
It's the same when you go into work, or you're going for an interview.
Absolutely.
It's those nerves, you're worried, will I know how to speak, or I don't know anyone here, and it's funny how just an occasion like that can cause someone to shrink within themselves, and they don't actually put their best foot forward or show who they are as a person, just because they've been overwrought by the occasion. You've seen it on the X Factor back in the day, where a person is an amazing talent, but they get stage fright. It's similar. So we're trying to work to make sure that whenever the kids are within that environment, that professional environment, they feel comfortable, they feel like they belong. And part of that is starting to bring in that personal development. So whether it's to practice interviews, techniques, help them with their CVs, have mock interviews, anything like that. that will actually further their careers or the prospects of them getting a job. That's the important thing. Then we've got kids that will be in year 10. So year 10 in this country, they're expected to do 1 or 2 weeks work experience.
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So my eldest one, she had to do her work experience, and I've been quite proactive for once and and secured something well in advance. So literally last year I'd already secured her work experience place, but then something went wrong with the company, and suddenly I had to find something else.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine if you're a parent that's working all hours of the day, making ends meet for your family? You don't have time for that. And that's where an organisation like URBOND and the Youth Development Programme can facilitate that. So once we build these relationships with employers, there's an existing one with Richmond Motor Group, but ideally what we want to get to is, regardless of what career the kids want to explore, we've got a partner that can facilitate that.
Yeah.
That's the crucial thing. So once we set that out for them, I think the first cohort will be early next year, around about probably April, May time.
Yeah.
And we'll look to potentially do something over the summer for some of the kids that missed out on their work experience because of COVID.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. Like, my year group was the one that we missed our work experience, and when you think of how many schools there are in the country and how many people missed it, it's a lot of students missing work experience. So yeah, it was quite depressing actually, because most of us were really looking forward to it, because you had such a variety of what you could do. So you could always just do anything. I think I chose to work on at a stable with horses.
Wow.
Completely opposite of what I want to do on a bit.
You just wanted to explore it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was something. Because I'm in the city, I don't get the experience that much out like in the countryside, especially with like in a farm and on a stable. So I took that as a chance to actually try it, and I was really gutted that I couldn't actually end up doing it. So
Did you do work experience at school or college?
I think we didn't really do anything because of COVID. So that got cancelled. But I already had a job at the time, so I had enough work experience already.
Okay.
But I'll say you can never have too much work experience. That's just me.
What was it all about?
Yeah, that's just me. And I think the latter stages of the Youth Development Programme, I think, so there's 3 distinct phases to it. So phase 1 is what I've just outlined, and part of phase 2. And phase 2 proper will be to look at a leadership programme.
Yes.
So for some of the kids that are across our phase 1 at the moment, that we see it's called leadership potential, just to see if we can do maybe 5 to 10 of them, put them on a structured course, because we see the value within them. So we've got the potential to put them through that, so that they're the future leaders of the community, because they've seen what URBOND is about. And if you put that together with people that have got leadership potential, then you just amplify the message. And I think what's wonderful about URBOND and the flexibility here is that, off the back of a conversation with Drummond the other week, he committed to potentially providing some work experience opportunities for the kids here as well, by setting up roles. Like, because you do a lot of stuff within your role. I think I would say this. And can you imagine someone having the opportunity to be your understudy for a week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I would love that. If I was 14 and
exactly. Can you imagine how much of a game changer that would be?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Then the last phase is just having it as a yearly program, so that all the kids that are coming through our phase 1 going to phase 2, then it's all structured so that we don't miss anyone. And any of the unfortunate ones that missed out because of COVID, just look for those opportunities with our network to actually deliver some work experience for them, whether it's related to what they're doing or they want to test something else. Yeah, because that's quite crucial, isn't it? Because this is probably the only time you'll be able to test out what works for you and what doesn't.
Because like at the moment, obviously, I've worked in retail and stuff, but it's just nice to get that wide range because there's so much you can do that you don't know. Like you can say you want to go into medicine, but that doesn't mean being a doctor. There's so much to it that you just don't know. There's so many behind the scenes, like you said, within the Richmond Motor Group. There's like the tech stuff, and there's like so much to like the actual build itself. So it's quite sad that we didn't get to experience it, but there's obviously, like you said, there's other, you guys do that. There's hopefully to make it into something a bit more, so that people who don't have that experience or want to do more, just have like loads of experience because they don't know what they want to do. So having that experience and trying loads of different things, they'll find what they like, what they don't like, what suits them and what doesn't. So I think it was great to have that as an opportunity.
Yeah, I think we talked about this with Perry the other day, that there's opportunities within the Richmond Motor Group for him to actually explore what he wants to do. Because like, at the risk of talking for him, like he's in paid employment at the moment, like a Saturday job, and you want to do more than you. And we had a discussion about whether you'd want to risk distracting from your school now, or we put you in a structured program where like you can test out these things, you can get additional experience. And we talked about negotiating skills because he's got a great role that he's doing at the moment, but he probably felt like he wasn't paid enough for what he's doing. So rather than him just leaving it, I think today he told me that like he had a negotiation.
We just got hope now.
Yeah, well, the fact that they're considering it, that's a crucial thing, because like I said to you, like it was Thursday, was it?
It was
Wednesday. I said to him, everything in life is about negotiation. You have to negotiate with whatever you do. You can't just assume that the other person will give you what you want. You have to structure your argument with the person, and you talk to them. You say like, right, I've been working for you for this long. These are the skills that I've gained. I feel I'm providing this value, and it has to be an honest conversation. I'm providing this value. I think it's worth X. What can you do? Because the alternative would have been to say like, right, I'm not being paid enough by that employer. I'm just going to leave. But you've already built up that relationship. I think you started in 2019. You said, was it? Yeah. So it's a long-term relationship. So why would you turn your back on that? Why don't you stay, have that discussion, and actually see where you can get to? And that's part of the skills that we'll be looking to teach them.
I was just going to say that,
Because it's quite crucial, and you're not told these things. So I've learned to learn these things the hard way. Where like, you just assume that like you're not worth what the position is. Whereas if you actually look at what's the market doing in terms of the value of the role, or of the service that you're providing, then you communicate your value. So a lot of what we'll be doing is instilling that self-value within the kids and giving them the tools to be able to articulate that. That's a crucial part, that articulation. Because it doesn't matter what you know, if you can't communicate it properly to the person that needs to hear that message, then it's lost.
For sure. I remember you gave me a little talk when I didn't have a job a few months ago.
See, that illustrates the power of a network. Literally, like you're next door within an hour and a half.
That's true.
That was the turnaround. And that's what we want to try and facilitate for the youth of Portsmouth. But it comes from having that network and having those conversations and those relationships with the employers, because then they know the kids on our programs, they know their character, they know that they're good kids that can deliver great value to any establishment that they work for, and we've given them the tools to excel within that environment. So they just buy in, and whenever they go into an interview, regardless of whether it's within our network or it's elsewhere, or they choose a totally different journey for themselves, we've given them the tools to succeed. That's what success will be to me. Just their independence to be able to do that.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Joe. So moving on to engagement activities, I just wanted to know, do you know what activities there are all over the city. So I know, Perry, you do activities outside URBOND. You mentioned boxing and rugby. So how did you find out about those?
Boxing, I was working and someone came in and they told me, they asked me what sports I do, and at the time I didn't do anything. So then they told me I could be champion of the world. So then they told me where the gym was, and then I really thought about it. I was like, I'm not doing anything any better, so I might as well join. And then rugby, that's a school thing. I did it since like year 7, and then I resumed it back again in year 12 because you know I had nothing else to do, and I wanted to add more to my physical ability in that.
Yeah, it's interesting to know how you found out about boxing. I'd like simply just through word of mouth.
Yeah.
Sophia, do you touch upon that?
Well, when I was younger, I used to do taekwondo, and I knew that was quite common here. Like there was a lot of little clubs with like martial arts, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, and stuff like that. I did enjoy it. And same with like when I went to swimming, that I didn't choose that actually. My mum saw, and because I used to love swimming when I was younger, like going away on holiday, I just was always in the pool. You could never find me anywhere else but in the pool. I loved it. It was the place to be.
Yes.
So she was like, try it. And back at the time I was in primary school. And I was having a hard time in primary school with like other kids and just social side. I was just really not enjoying school or life whatsoever. But going into swimming, it really helped. Then from that I kind of people there, like coaches, kind of like they came from other places as well, so they came from doing other sports. So most of their coaches there didn't just specialize in like one sport. They had quite like a variety, and they came from like other places. So from them, I kind of saw that there was so much more like in Portsmouth. But even still, before urban, there wasn't that many as like a choice. So.
What about now?
Now there's a lot more, I think, choices, and a lot more activities, like not just sports, but like other like youth communities and stuff. So I definitely think there's a lot more than there was.
Okay, so do you think there could be more, or do you just think?
I think there could be more. It's quite difficult because on a little island, as much as there's many people, you kind of, to have a club, there needs to be like a limit, I guess, to how you can run it. But I think there could be a bit more that isn't sporty, because I know there's a lot of people who are not comfortable with playing sports and they just don't, it's not their thing. They'd rather be, creative with their hands with woodwork or painting, or even just like playing around, like with Richmond Group, they have like obviously there's cars and stuff, so like the mechanic side, or just kind of like experimenting and kind of playing around with what they can do, because it's not just all about like sports on a relaxing side. There's also other hobbies, and I think that definitely could be more, that's just more broader in that area of like hobbies, of opportunities to do.
Yeah. Kind of brings me to my last question now. So it's more for you, Sophia. So the last question is, how has integration been while part of URBOND's activities? So URBOND basically brings different cultures, different backgrounds all together. So how has that been for you?
Honestly, it's been amazing, to be honest. Being with URBOND and playing in volleyball, there was a wide range of people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different communities and schools. And it was just, it's great because we're supported as like one unit, like one group, one team, supporting each other, having support from the coaches is unreal. The support from them, I have to admit, Hans and Mike and, just to name a few, they are really, really supportive. They put their time in, they put their effort in, and they even just listen. So I was having a bit of a hard time, and I spoke to Hans and spoke to one of the coaches, Liam, and they were just being there and just kind of listening and just even if I'm not looking for advice, they're just there to, reassure me it's okay, and then having the support there and having the community of my friends there and making friends outside of college is really nice, because it's just a different experience, a different atmosphere, and that really does help that it's not within education, within school. I'm there by choice, not because I'm forced to do an enrichment at school, and I'm there because I want to be there, because I enjoy it and it's fun, and I honestly, it's just great. It really is. It really has just been an amazing experience, and honestly, I'm trying to get as many people that I know of who aren't really doing much to try and join. Like I said, I was one of the first girls in the under 18s. Yeah. There was no under 15s back then, and slowly but surely we had got a friend and a friends of friends, and then now we actually have a team to go to competitions and train together and be a unit, and it's just honestly, it's lovely. It's so nice knowing that you have that support and that just fun. You're just kind of having fun, and it's just good for physically, mentally, and just the whole well-being,
Oh, well, that's a really nice note to end on, actually. So, thank you for coming today. Thank you for
Thank you guys.
You're welcome. That brings us to the end of the conversation. So, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and comment on what we should talk about next. So, thank you.